All right, let's close this up the right way. He is the man that's behind the woman. Well, it's the black guy who tips, but I'm trying to pay a proper homage. So, yeah, he's the actual black guy who tips. He's just behind the woman who's married to the black guy who tips. The homie Rod, Charlotte, what's going on, man?
What is up, Bo?
Hey, Carla, man, how you been?
Chilling, man. Can't complain at all, dog. Living great.
Indeed.
Hey, man. So about the Barkley comments.
Yeah.
Can we I just gotta ask one question, man. I feel like it's a one-hitter quitter. Mm-hmm. Who the hell done accused Charles Barkley of talking white?
I
just want to know.
Point.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's a long list of brothers that might have got that accusation tossed their way. I feel like he's not in the percentile of brothers that caught man, you know what? You talk pretty good. You sound kind of white. You know what I mean?
That's a great
Chuck
point.
looked like the people that was beating me up in high school, not the other way around. I don't, you know, I feel like, that's, plus anytime you start a sentence with, I tell my white friends, it almost never goes anywhere good, you know? And the other thing too.
I tell my white friends. Woo, right. No.
The other thing too, man, is a lot of people on social media got played for the okie doke because they run up in your mentions and they get mad at you, and they're saying like, well, he's so brave to finally say the truth. Who are these black people that have ever had their career suffer for talking bad about black people?
Right. Like, what are they afraid of happening? Because if I want to go hear some black people talk bad about the black people, I just take it to the barbershop. There's plenty of them.
Yeah. Is this something that black people don't talk about, the negative elements in the community? I feel like we're the only ones that do talk about it in any type of meaningful way.
No, I tell you this, when I was coming up, when I was growing up, I used to go to the barbershop out there in Prairie View. And Mr. Kirby was the barber. I used to hang out there every day. Like, so I picked up the guy. I would just go to the barbershop every day. I didn't have anything else to do after school. I go to the barbershop, I watch Jeopardy, and I listen to the old heads talk about whatever. So it'd be like the local folks plus the professors and all of that, right? But man, Mr. Kirby was hard on black people, man. Like, I remember listening to Mr. Kirby trying to explain how Rodney King might have been on PCP. Like, I remember that very clearly. That Mr. Kirby is like Rodney King might have been on PCP. Like, that was like the end of the innocence for me with Mr. Kirby. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, man. I got a friend.
You tell you this. I knew somebody that he used to say about Kirby. He said, man, you sit there with Kirby. He said, you close your eyes. His line used to be, it's just what he said. You close your eyes, you swear you was listening to a white man. Let me tell you something. It wasn't because Mr. Kirby was speaking proper English that made him say that. Right, there are things that do make people say that you're out here acting like the white man, but it's not the proper conjugation of verbs. Like, nobody right now is saying I'm talking like a white man. Like, at this very moment, anybody think I sound like a white man right now? Because I haven't messed the word up yet.
Exactly, man. I've had the ability to be eloquent my entire life. I've never gotten these accusations leveled at me, man. Not to mention a lot of people that get those accusations, it comes from their white peers, who typically don't know any black people but them. So it's like, you must be one of the good ones. You talk like us, when you socialize with us. So, don't be mad, Darnell. You're the whitest black guy I know. Like, it's not typically just, from the community, man. I don't know what your experience was, but mine, coming up in a working class black neighborhood, like, I was a kid that, people was about to do some gangster shit. They was like, go your ass home, or they just didn't tell me. I found out about it through the grapevine because they knew I was about that life and they was not going to mess it up for me. So it's kind of weird to see like that opposite, I don't know, I don't want to say myth, but that opposite stored narrative get pushed out there all the time of, the black community going to bring you down.
It seems to happen to like a subset of people, and I don't have any descriptor for it, but I'll never forget this, right? So I was on the radio in Raleigh. This is after I was working there, but I went in there with Joe Obia. Somebody had started one of these conversations like this, and they started talking about it, and all of a sudden the phone line lit up with brothers, right? All who had their story to tell about being picked on for being like too white or something like this. So this dude calls up and he's Anthony. I guess he was Anthony in Raleigh, and he starts talking and he starts going and he's like, I mean, why am I less black because I have a white girlfriend and I like goat cheese, right? And I said, Hey, Anthony, they call you Tony at home, don't they? He says, how'd you know that? And I was like, I just had it, just a hunch. And I feel like I said something else, but I had spelled his whole life out right then and there. You are running so far from Tony, right? You don't want to be Tony. You want to be Anthony. Eat that goat cheese, right?
You don't want to be
that's fine. Like, if you want to eat the goat cheese and you want to have your white girlfriend, nobody's saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, when you go from Tony to Anthony, you can still be Tony.
Right.
You just don't want to be Tony no more to decide to be Anthony. Come on, Tony.
You know, the other thing too is like, the universal truth with all black people is that, you know, we already know you black no matter what people say, because society not going to allow you to be anything else. It's, you know, you might call somebody out on their, you know, like, oh, this dude acts a certain way, but we still know the South Carolina State Trooper test is a 1 and a 0. You know what I mean? It's you either pass, fail, baby.
It's binary code.
Yeah, ain't no degrees to that, dog. Anthony or Tony.
Yeah, maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 2 squared. Maybe it's 3rd degree 2.
Yeah, exactly, man. So yeah, I thought that, you know, but I guess a lot of people had traumatic experiences, and you know that stuff forms their life at a young age. But I mean, it's like anything, man. I hate to sound cold, but you got to get your ass over that shit at some point, man. You too old to be still talking this way.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it like, at what point do I get to call people suckers for this, right? Because I know some people had some real experiences, and I don't know what to feel about myself because I hear so many of these stories, I just don't want to hear. I'm like, man, quit acting like a sucker. Like, I may be wrong for this, but I know I know you feel me on this. You just be like, yo, man, you sound like a real sucker right now, dog.
Hey, you know what, man? Maybe we've discovered something. I think we might have stumbled on the black privilege, bro. We might just have black privilege, dog. I've never, like, it has never crossed my mind at any point in my life to be like, you know what, man? Black people are pretty mean with this accusing me of being white thing. It's never crossed my mind. It's always been, hey, Ron, what's up, dog? Like, we still cool. And then I go to my AP classes and I come back to the neighborhood like normal.
I will say it's worth noting, we can be mean. We joke tough. Yeah. We play rough.
Oh, for sure, dog. Hey, you know the other thing too, man, that's kind of, I meant to mention, a lot of white kids catch hell for being a nerd. Like, nerd ain't exactly, you know, good in any. Say that again, Bo.
Who came up with the word nerd? Geek, dork.
Right.
Like, it ain't exactly. You hear those rap records. That ain't where they came from.
Yeah, it ain't exactly, you know, nice living out here for anybody out here that's socially awkward or outcast or outside of the norm, whether that be because it's not like one of the reasons I think I never worried about, you know, being black in my AP classes and shit. I was still the coolest motherfucker in the class. Like, it wasn't close. You know what I mean? Like, everyone in there was a nerd.
I think the other thing I had going for me in my situation also was I was around the basketball team. Like, I was around stuff and I was around people. I was never separated, right? Like, it was never a point where, like, I was taking, and this is what some of the research has shown, is that you start hearing more about this active white thing in people who have been separated, right? So if you were at a predominantly white school and you go up there with your black friends and then you get put in those AP classes and you're the only one, and then all your friends are the people in your class, and then you're not kicking it with the people that you used to know before, then they gonna hit you with the you acting like you white, which is not really about your proper grammar and everything else. Like, nobody ever said Martin Luther King sound like no white man.
Right. You just been socialized away from the majority, for your crew. And now it's really just you changed, you know?
Yeah. And but, like, 7th and 8th graders aren't the most sophisticated people in the world. They're not necessarily able to discern these things properly.
It's crazy, but yeah, folks hold on to it for their whole lives, man. But all that aside, ain't nobody ever accused no damn Charles Barkley of none of this shit, man. Come on, dog. Come on, man. He might have caught it for some other stuff that he might have done in his life, but he ain't catching it for, he just speaks so eloquently and the way he carries himself. This dude was throwing people through that glass window, man. Ain't nobody, like his whole NBA career, I never remember, like Karl Malone caught hell. I never remember the Charles Barkley ain't one of them brothers speeches, you know what I mean? Like I feel like cats just, I don't know, they get on that microphone, they gotta say something and help them out.
Yeah, I like Chuck. I just fervently disagree, but it's one of those things.
I like him too,
man,
dog.
We get close to the end, man. Tell the folks where they can find you.
Hey, dog, theblackguywhotips.com, iTunes, Podomatic, just search The Black Guy Who Tips. We do a show 5 days a week. It's a comedy show. Motto of the show is nothing's wrong if it's funny. We get a lot of listeners from the Evening Jones, and stuff like that, man. So obviously thanks to Bo and Lance for that. And, all those people typically stay because, it's kind of the same vibe. And, also, make sure you, follow us on Spreecast because, we do live Spreecast, 5 days a week.